Hey there guys, I am the Six Machine and welcome back to another Warhammer video. So we've had a bit of a sneak early gift, I suppose, before the upcoming Warhammer Day preview this weekend, and GW have very kindly given us a new, or rather updated I should say, custom mission to play with, which harkens way back to some of the older classic very first missions that were ever introduced into Warhammer 40,000, and this is the Battle at the Farm scenario, which I believe it mentions is actually the first scenario that has ever been or was ever created for Warhammer 40k or for Rogue Trader way back in the day. So they've done an updated, more sort of modern version of that you can download for free on their website, and it features a unique small little clash between the Orks and the Space Marines of the Crimson Fists. And this seems really cool. I think you get the rules for the players, the two players, the Orks and the Crimson Fist, but also for a Games Master, because this mission is a bit different in that it essentially is for 3 players, and there are special events and triggers and sort of mission rules and things that happen throughout the game that is overseen by this third player who takes on the GM role. So there is a set of rules for the GM, which has all of these, conditions and secret, victory conditions and that sort of thing, and the rules for the actual players. I'm not going to show off the Master's briefing, just in case you guys do want to play this and keep those surprises secret, but over the next few screens you will see images of the player's briefing, and as you can see and as you will read as we go through this, essentially, this gives you not only the makeup of the armies you need to bring, it's Pedro Kantor and 3 5-man tactical squads for the Marine, and then Orc boss Thrug Bullneck, a nob named Hruk, and 2 mobs of 10 boys each for the Orcs, and these are the 2 armies that you will use to face off against each other. In a way to make it sort of feel like that older classic Rogue Trader style game rather than the more modern 8th or 9th edition rule set, there are some rules that don't come into effect. Things like your chapter tactics and your cultures you can't use. Most of the stratagems, apart from one that they provide in the campaign sheet, you can't use. So it really is going to feel like an older classic early edition game if that's something that you remember. So you will hopefully get a sense of nostalgia from that, which I think is quite cool. And then in addition to that, there are also custom deployment, there are some unique mission and special rules, as well as some new mechanics which I believe were in the game in Rogue Trader, although that was before my time. But there are intelligence, cool, and willpower stats, which essentially work as modified leadership saves or as modified leadership tests. They're not super complicated, but they come in at certain points which the GM will be aware of and can make you roll those tests to do certain actions or to accomplish certain goals. On top of that, there are also some other little quirks to the mission in that you can do things like split up your 10-man mobs of Orcs to have 2 5-man squads, which obviously you can't do in modern main 40k, but just to make the mission a bit more interesting and feel a bit more old school as well. So I think that in general, from everything that we can see in this sort of campaign supplement they give us, it does seem like a really cool little mission. It's short and it's relatively simple. Basically, the Orc player needs to scout 3 locations which are marked with objective markers to try and find Thrug's missing loot, and the Space Marine player, of course, has to try and stop the greenskins. So, I mean, it's nothing super complicated, but it is a good bit of fun and it seems quite interesting to play, and I do think that it's going to be an enjoyable little mission to play around with, especially if you do want to sort of recreate some of that nostalgic Rogue Trader feel, if you are old enough to remember that feeling, of course. But then what there also is, and what I think is potentially quite interesting, and one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, is that there seems to be a fair bit of focus on the Crimson Fists and the Orcs. They obviously have this campaign, they've been showing out that classic bit of artwork of the Crimson Fist's Last Stand, which is super famous among 40k even to this day, and then there have also recently been painting tutorials for both the old Rogue Trader Orcs and doing Marines in the Crimson Fist scheme. And it just makes me wonder, is this just coincidence because so much of the old lore was Crimson Fist focused, or is Warhammer Day also going to be a really great opportunity for GW to introduce a brand new Primaris model for a character that is well overdue for an update for a long time now, a very popular chapter master, Pedro Kantor. Because let's be honest, his model is great, but he is still a firstborn Marine, so he will be getting Primarisified at some point. It's inevitable, and he has been rumoured for a little while now, and I just think with all the celebrations this weekend, with all of the older art and lore, which was, as I said, quite heavily focused on the Crimson Fists and their battle at Rin's World, now could be a really good time to show off this updated Primaris Kantor and just really celebrate what is one of the oldest and coolest characters in all of the 40k lore. So I do have to say, I think this is a really nice little announcement. It's a fun, unique little mission for you to try out. It's not going to take long, but if you've got 3 friends or you've got 2 friends and yourself, and you just want to give a game a try where you are all involved, it could be good fun to try it out. And then I also think this could be a potential hint at one of the things we may see revealed for the Warhammer Day celebrations. But that is going to be it for me today. I would really love to know if you are planning on giving this mission a try, or if you remember playing the original version back in 87. I would love to know what that was like, because that's way before even I got into the hobby. I was born in 87. So if you were playing this scenario the year that I was born, I would really love to know how different it is, if you tried them both out, and what you thought was better. And I would also really like to know if you think we will get a sneaky peek at a Primaris Kantor at these celebrations. Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more Warhammer content from me, but until next time, I'll catch you later, guys.